Hey guys, I'm the Offbeat Picker and I'm a full-time reseller. And today I'm going to show you over 60 items that sold for me for $30 and up. There's a lot of people that will only sell things if they're worth $25 or more online. And I'm definitely not one of those people. I'm willing to sell the smalls. I'm willing to sell tiny things that are cheap. It doesn't bother me. But in case you're just looking for things that'll make you more money, that's what this video is about. So let's get into it. The first kind of item I want to talk about that I've sold several things for $30 and up are books. And there's many different varying things that can make a book worth money or not worth money. And so most of them you are going to have to look up on an individual basis. Some things you can look for are music books. As you see, I sold several music books for $35 all the way to $100. If you find a music book with a famous band on the cover, look it up. It could be rare. That's the reason why I was able to sell this one for $100. And then I sold the Loverboy Classics music book for $45. And then you see I have a Tesla and a Van Halen book, two different Tesla books actually, and a Van Halen music book that also for $35 each. So if you find music books, just because you don't understand it and you don't know how to read music, doesn't mean you can't make some money off of it. So look up music books. Another kind of book you can look for is sets. It sounds simple enough, right? If you find books and they're all in the same genre, they're all in the same set, Harry Potter, whatever it is, Twilight, things that go in a set. If you find them cheap enough, you bulk them together. Now you up your value, you up the price. So you see, I sold this set of America books for $30. If you see a set, it's probably worth more. Signed books. I had this Anne Rice book that was actually an autographed copy. Usually a lot of books will say on them that they're autographed because it's some kind of almost mass-produced autographing thing, but it still brings value to it. Or you can just stumble across a book and find an autograph in it. And if you do, that's going to up the value significantly. So this signed copy of an Anne Rice book sold for $35. And then, of course, always look for old books. If something looks really old, it might be worth looking up. If something has a fancy dust jacket, that's another good reason to look it up. If it's got a made just to look on this book cover that looks really fancy, that could mean it's worth more. So those are the kind of books you should look for. These are the kind of books that I've sold for over $30. Next category I want to talk about is dishes. There are so many different kinds of dishes that are worth money. I don't like selling dishes. I kind of hate selling dishes because they're breakable, they're fragile, it's hard to deal with, it's so much work to pack them up, but there's money there. And sometimes you got to do stuff you don't want to do to make money. One of the categories I like to look for in dishes is anything Mary Mushroom. And that's not just dishes, that's anything kitchen related. Honestly, nowadays, anything that's home decor with a mushroom is probably worth money. Mary Mushroom was a specific pattern put out by, I believe, Sears in like the 70s era. And you can tell the orange and yellow colors, the vintage patterns. And as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, I found this different kind of piece that was Mary Mushroom. It's some kind of crock. And there wasn't any others listed. And I was able to sell this weird little, in my mind, useless dish, but very pretty, but I don't know what you'd use it for. Sold for $65. If you see dishes with mushrooms on them, you should probably look them up. Another category in dishes to look at, pewter. If you see something and it looks like it's silver and shiny, and it's probably worth looking up. You can look at the bottoms and usually find a maker's mark. You can use Google Lens to figure out what the actual maker of the cup or dish is, and you can figure out how much it's worth. I sold this pewter stein for $35. Holiday dishes. There's a lot of collections of holiday dishes out there and people want the complete set. So that's something you can look for if you're looking for higher value. You can see in the upper right hand corner, I sold a 12 Days of Christmas glass set for $52. So 12 glasses for $52, not too shabby. Things with cartoon characters on them. There's a lot of dishes with like cereal bowls, coffee mugs, things that have food mascots on them tend to sell for money. Or cartoon character cereal bowls. I think people associate cereal bowls with the nostalgia of watching cartoons. So if you can find cereal bowls with cartoon characters on them, there's a chance they're worth some money. I sold this one in the lower left-hand corner. It's got Tony the Tiger on it, and it sold for $30. So dishes. I don't like to sell them, but if they jump out at me and I know they're worth money, I have to grab them. So here's some ideas of some dishes you could look up. Next thing we have is hats. And I know I've already put out a video on a bunch of hats that I sold in 2021, and they're all included on this one if they sold for $30 or above. I just want to reiterate, hats can be worth more than $15. I think a lot of people think hats are the $15 seller kind of items. And there are some hats that sell for $30 or above. Usually vintage ones, the older the better, typically as long as they're in good condition. There can be some fancy Disney hats that are worth more money. If they have the ears, they're more likely worth more money. They might be actual from souvenirs from the actual theme park, so they can be worth more. Certain sports hats can be worth money. Like this Tennessee Titans hat, it was from a Super Bowl that never happened. It's so things like that, you have to research what they're from and figure out if they hold more value than you think. And then golf hats, surprisingly, a lot of golf hats can be worth more money. The reason why this one in the upper left-hand corner sold for so much is that little thing on the bill is actually I want to call it, what do you call it? It's like you put it on the ground to show where your ball landed. It's like a marker of some sort. So this was magnetic and stuck to the hat. So if you find a golf hat and it has like a magnet on it, that's actually like, I don't know what you call it. I don't play golf, but it can make your hat more valuable. There, now you know. Let's move on. Clothing and accessories. I am not a big clothing seller. I am not a big accessory seller. I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff, but there's certain things that I will pick up if I see them because it's just obvious someone's going to want it. So some of the simple things you can look for, name brand purses. Loungefly makes a lot of really nice purses. You can find a lot of purses that are like different characters and different genres of things that people collect, whether it's like this Gryffindor purse in the upper left-hand corner. People collect Harry Potter stuff. People want to represent their Hogwarts house. And so this was the Loungefly bag, and it sold for $36. Discontinued costumes. As you can see, the upper middle, there's a Ninja Turtles Shredder costume. If people are looking for a character, if their kid has become attached to a television show that no longer is on the air, and they decide that's what they want to be for Halloween, they're going to go to eBay and they're going to pay extra for those characters that can't be found in the store anymore. So think about that kind of thing when you're looking at Halloween costumes. Name brand clothing can be something to look up. The sweater vest, the big gray sweater vest there that sold for $32. It was a Patagonia vest, and it was 100% wool, which is something you can look for to find clothes that hold more value. Anything that's wool content and a high amount is probably a good thing. And then I added on here nice diaper bags because I did sell this Eddie Bauer diaper bag in the middle left for $32. So if you find a higher quality bag, if it looks nice, if it looks like it would hold a lot of things, it's in good condition, it might be worth $30 and up. Lower left hand, that's a Paddington Bear bag. So purses and bags, I look for cartoon characters, typically anything pop culture. Bright colors and patterns, maybe. Those are the kinds of things I look for because I don't know a lot about specific brands. So that's how I find things in a category that I don't know a lot about. And then in the upper right, you can see I did sell this butterfly bag. I sold one for $25 and one for $30. I actually got those at a dig bin store. I just thought they were bright and pretty, and I was like, someone's going to want these. And I'm not going to lie, I was going to keep them for me and my friend, but they sold for good money, so I let them sell. Another thing you want to think about is board games and puzzles. I think people shy away from board games and puzzles because they tend to be heavy. If you find them used, you have to do the tedious process of counting pieces and cards and making sure everything that's supposed to be there is there. So that can be a tedious process. But especially if a game is new and sealed, or a puzzle, then it's worth looking up because you don't have to count all the pieces. If it's used, really think about whether or not you want to deal with it before you bring it home to sell. This Babysitter's Club game was used and I sold it for $50 plus shipping. But I will tell you, it does not hold the same value that it did when I created this video. I have since then looked out and found a second Babysitter's Club game, and now I have it listed for $15 plus shipping, and no one will buy it. So when you buy something and you sell it for good money, the next time you see it, you might think, well, I know that sells for good money, but you might want to still look it up because if a lot of other people have gone out and found it and they've all sat there and, one person listed it for 50. Well, so the next person went 45. Well, another person found it, they want to sell it faster, so they went 40. And then we have the race to the bottom where everybody wants theirs to sell first and they lower the price, and they lessen the value. So sometimes you sell something, but that doesn't mean that's going to be how much it's worth the next time you sell it. And you have to think about that. So this Babysitter's Club game, I sold for a lot of money, but I do not suggest you pick one up right now unless it's super cheap and you just want to hold on to it and see if it goes up in value again, because it does not have the value it did. And then I have a puzzle that was new, The Shining, sold for $31.50. And then I have a game that was new, the National Parks Pictionary, that sold for $35. So basically, if you see a new and sealed game, look it up. The next category that I love to sell in is building block sets. I love all kinds of toys. Toys are my favorite, but I make a lot of money every year on different kinds of building block sets. And the reason why I say building block sets and not just Lego is because I don't mean just Lego. Lots of people talk about Legos, lots of people know about Legos, but there are other kinds of building blocks that can be worth a lot of money too. And one of the things I like to sell is the Mega Construct series. They have a very large following. I think there's a lot of collectors. There's a lot of adult collectors of these kinds of blocks. There's a Halo series. There is the Call of Duty series. There is, they make Pokemon Mega Construct sets. There's a lot of things that aren't just for children. They're also more targeted at an adult audience, which means when they get discontinued, the sets go up in value and they will pay a premium to get the characters that they want for their sets. So Mega Constructs, you can tell by the orange, if you can see the Halo one at the top, and it's got the orange in the corner and it says Mega Constructs on top of it, that's usually how you find them. You see that orange, you see Mega. It's a building set worth looking up probably. Another sets I don't hear people talk about is Creo, KRE-O. And they almost remind me of like a Bionicle type thing with Lego, but they're their own form of blocks. And I've sold the Transformers, I've sold Dungeons and Dragons. They make a lot of different kinds of sets. They're not easy to find, but if you do find them, they can be worth good money. As you can see, I sold sets of 4 Transformers for $45 and for $50, and they've got all different sizes. So look for Creo blocks. Of course, there's Lego, different versions. There's Lego City. You can see I sold that set in the upper right-hand corner for $85. And then the next one, I upped the price and sold it for $120. And then you have the Lego Friend sets, which are usually just the more girly, targeted at girls, Lego sets. And I sold this one in the corner for $30. And with Legos, it's hit or miss. Some of them can be worth a ton of money. Some of them just aren't. So always look up Lego sets. And then of course there's Connects, and there's a lot of Connects that aren't worth any money, but this particular set that I had was no one else had it available. It's a Mario Kart set, and it actually had Wario with it. So I think that's what really made someone want it, and it sold for $100. So if you see Connects new in the box, scan the barcode, look it up, see if it sells. Next kind of thing I want to talk about is dolls. There are so many dolls that are worth money. It's also definitely very hit or miss. There are dolls that are worth a ton. There are dolls that are worth nothing. But I think that's the same in every single category. So you just really got to look it up. The upper left hand doll, that is a Fashion Fever Barbie doll. And I don't really know how to explain it. If you're not a Barbie person, it might be hard to figure out. But if you find a Barbie doll that has very elaborate makeup and very customized looking clothing and a nicer hairstyle, that's the kind of Barbie doll you want to look up. Don't just look for the year. A lot of people just look for the year on the back of their neck and they go, oh, it's a 1960 Barbie doll. No, it's not. That is the year the mold was made, and they used the mold for the next decade, 2 decades. The number, the year on a Barbie doll usually doesn't mean anything. What you want to look at for a Barbie doll is the details. You got to look at the details. If they have a interesting haircut, if they're a straight blonde, blue-eyed Barbie doll, they might not be worth that much money because there's a million of them. If they have a different colored hair, if they have more style, that's when you look them up. And this was a Fashion Fever doll, and I sold her for $30. And then the next doll you have is a PJ Sparkles, the pink doll with the heart on her chest and the bow on her head. It's a doll from the 80s. It lights up and flashes. It's super cool. My sister had this doll when I was little, and I sold her for $28 plus shipping, so that is over $30 sale. In the upper right-hand corner, you see an elf on the shelf. I did sell this particular elf for $30. It does not have the same value. I now have these listed for, I think, like 15, and I can't sell them. So if you find an elf on the shelf, you're going to have to look up which one you find to see if it is worth money at the time and whether or not you want to pick it up. Then I have a vintage India Barbie doll. You can see with the pink box behind her. That's just easy one to look up because it was still partially in the box. So it was easy to Google Lens and figure out that she was worth something. I was able to sell her for $34. The middle bottom row, we have a 1980 ice cream doll. I saw this doll. She looked vintage, and I was like, I feel like someone's going to want her. And it seems like they have a pretty good following. They come in a lot of different sizes. As you can see, if you can see that tiny little yellow thing hanging around her waist, that is an ice cream cone. And if they have the ice cream cone, it does make them worth more money. And I was able to sell this doll for $60. And the lower right-hand corner, we just have a Baby Alive doll. It's new in the box, and it's sold for $35 plus shipping. Baby Alive dolls probably aren't always worth picking up, but if they're new in the box, scan the barcode, and you can figure out the value very quickly. Next thing I want to talk about is toys, because all I talk about is toys. I love toys. And here's just some random examples of toys that I've sold for $30 and above. Discontinued toy trains. If you find old Thomas the Trains, or you find Chuggington trains, old wooden trains, they're probably worth looking up. A lot of people still collect them. A lot of people still have kids that are obsessed with trains, but they don't make the same kind of train toys now that they did back in the day, as I would like to say. So look up vintage toy trains. Then, as you see to the left, that yellow package, it's a Goo-Jitsu. Now, Goo-Jitsu toys, there are some that are still on the shelf in Walmart right now. Those aren't worth what you pay for them at Walmart. But if you find Goo-Jitsus marked down, or if you find older Goo-Jitsus, there's many different series now available. And this particular one is a Pantaro, and I believe that was the original collection that they released. And that's why I was able to sell it for $67.50. But not all Goo-Jitsu are worth money. It's definitely one of those toys that if you find, you want to look it up. Blind boxes can be a way to make money. If you see to the far right, I have some Minecraft melon figures. I sold a set of 3 of them for $35. It's just people like the mystery, and they want to try to catch them all. They want to collect them all, I guess I should say, since it's not Pokemon. But people want to get them all. That's what they do. That's the thrill of the mystery toys. And so people will pay up for multiples to get more than one. And then in the lower left-hand corner, I've just got a Fisher-Price toy set. I sold it for $40. It was a record player. Just one of those, if you see new and sealed toys, scan the barcode and look it up. Figure out if it's worth money. Sell it, make some money. Next, we have more toys. Nerf guns. Always look up Nerf guns. If you see in the upper right-hand corner, that is a Nerf Rebel gun. They put out a series for girls. Maybe it's Rebel, maybe? Nerf Rebel? I don't know. They made a series for girls for a while, as if girls can't play with regular guns. I don't know. Either way, they made a series of Nerf guns targeted at females. And the one in the upper right-hand corner, I was able to sell that set for $50. And yeah, so certain Nerf guns can be worth a ton of money. You should probably always look up Nerf guns, unless it's just your basic generic tiny blue and orange one. Even then, you might make some money. So depending on the price, look it up. Let's see, vintage toys, holiday toys, action figures. These are all good categories to look for toys. The upper left-hand corner, that's my vintage on this page. That is a smiley face volleyball from Walmart. And I know this because it was mine from my personal collection. And it really fit into my room when I was, a teenager and pre-teenager with obsessed with smiley faces and everything 70s. I'm a 70s lover. I love flared pants. I love flowers. I love that stuff. And that's why I had this smiley face volleyball and I loved it. And that's how I knew what it was. But I was like, I don't see any available on sale and it doesn't match any of my current decor. Let me see if I can sell it. And I did for $50. So if you know what something is, then you can find value in it. This toy in the middle to the left, that is a Grinch sled. I have sold this toy multiple times. I keep lucking out and finding it again and again. And I was able to sell this one new in a box for $45. If you see any toys for the Grinch, like actual you can play with them toys, they're probably worth a lot of money. The lower left-hand corner, we have just a Jurassic World figure. Pretty simple. If you see an action figure and it has a barcode, look it up and see how much it's worth. The middle to the right, we have a little live pet set. I sold that for $35. There's different versions of little live pets. Some of them are worth like $10. Some of them are worth more. The bottom right, there is a kitten cat Faye. And if you see these, pick them up. I have sold multiple for good money. And this one I sold for $30. So if you see a kitten cat Faye, it just looks like a soda bottle, but it's got a mystery cat inside. They sell for good money. Random media. This is just a random assortment of stuff that sold. Far right, that did sell for $25, which I know isn't quite 30, but I just want to remind people that VHS tapes can be worth money, especially if you find them new and sealed, especially if you can find multiple in the same category. As you see, I put 3 Disney ones that were new and sealed together. They were all educational, and so they sold for $25 together. Small screen series on DVD. If you find a canceled TV show and you can find the entire collection put together on DVD, there's probably a good chance it's worth money. I sold this Gravity Falls complete series DVD set for $54. So if you see a DVD and it's new and sealed and it's a TV show, you should probably look it up. It's a TV series. If it says complete series on it and it's new and sealed, look it up. Vintage educational material and school supplies. You can see the plus and minus games. It was just some older math cards and they're all new in a package. And I was like, I feel like I could sell that. Sold it for $30. Not a lot to say there. Vintage school supplies. You can make a lot of money selling vintage school supplies. If it says Yikes. Yikes is a great brand of pencils that I have sold for a lot of money. I've sold like packs of pencils for $50 before. It is crazy. Stickers, anything vintage school supplies can be worth a lot of money. At far left, you see a Nickelodeon pencil sharpener. And vintage Nickelodeon school supplies can go for great money. This particular pencil sharpener, I found no comps for it online. So I decided to put it on auction and just see what happens. And I was able to sell this pencil sharpener. Yes, literally a pencil sharpener for $52.99. So if you find older school supplies in the package, look it up, pick it up, buy it, sell it, make money. Of course, something that's worth a lot of money, collectibles, anything people collect. That's the kind of thing people are willing to put money in. So figurines, models, vintage things, these are the kinds of things people collect. The upper left, that's a McGregor. It was one of those that he picks up his little cigar and smokes it. And I wasn't able to test this guy to see if he worked. And he had a lot of damage. Most of his hair had fallen off. He had some like rust spots on the bottom, and he still sold for $62. So look up anything that looks really old and creepy. It could be worth money. John Deere stuff has a huge following. A lot of people collect that. And the upper right, you see the little Johnny with the number 5 next to him, and he sold for $34. So John Deere figurines can be worth money. So look those up if you find them. And the lower right-hand corner, I have a Saturn model car. I don't know if you would exactly call it a model. What would you call it? Replica? Either way, cars, they sell. This was a Saturn. It sold for $65 plus shipping. And then one of the craziest things I think I've ever sold is this little tractor in the lower left. It was a Cat exact model tractor. I wish I could zoom in and tell you more about it. I didn't keep a lot of details on this stuff. I just stuck the pictures on here. I found this at Goodwill for $3, I think. And I couldn't find anything about it online. So I priced it high, and I kept lowering the price a tiny bit to see if anything happened. And someone paid me $200 for this tractor. So if you find tiny replica vehicles, they could be worth not tiny money. Just saying. You never know. If something's new in the package, look it up. And the last page I have to show you is just random items that didn't fit in with anything else. Holiday decorations. People love the holidays, and they will pay good money for holiday decorations. This bunny to the far left, I just thought it was really nice. It was probably almost 2 foot tall. It was a very tall little bunny, but it was just so intricately designed that I was like, it's beautiful. Someone's going to love it. Someone that loves Easter stuff is going to want this. It wasn't any specific brand. It just looked very nice. And I was able to sell this bunny for $79. To the right of it, we have a tree topper angel. People want their tree toppers to be perfect. They want them to match their tree. This was just a beautiful angel. It had that royal purple dress on, all the different colors made it more desirable, and it sold for $58.50. Filters can be something that can make you a lot of money real easy. It's something you can find at dig bin stores a lot. Just make sure they're actual name brand filters. Don't just buy generic filters. But this is a pure brand water filter box set. It sold for $32. And then dog toys. Believe it or not, people pay a lot of money to replace their dog's favorite toy. And this Scooby-Doo sandwich dog toy all the way to the right, I sold for $34. That was out of my dog's personal BarkBox collection. When I open their BarkBox toys, before I give them to them, I look them up. And if they're worth a lot of money on eBay, then I sell them rather than let my dogs tear them up. But don't worry, my dogs get plenty of toys, so they don't mind. But that's over 60 things that you could be looking for that could sell for $30 and up. I hope I showed you something that you never thought about before. I hope I inspire you to maybe shop outside of your normal categories and make some money. I hope you learned something. I hope you give me a thumbs up. I hope you leave me a comment, and I hope you subscribe so you can watch the next video. Either way, thanks guys. Bye.